I was having trouble tonight
Really?
at home, yeah.
Maybe it's just off the main.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe it's something wider. All right, I'm calling the August regular planning board meeting to order. First up on the agenda is the Stissing Center. Site plan amendment. Actually, first, I had some words, I had something that I was thinking about, and I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it real quick, just about how, at least I look at service on a board such as this, and obviously the members might have differing opinions on that, but when it comes to government, there's a couple of different ways of looking at things. So one way is like the delegate model, where you're expected to go up and vote exactly as the people direct you to, and as some sort of like automaton. And then there's oh my God, I can't believe I forgot it. That's bad. Delegate and then trustee, sorry about that. The trustee model, which was actually talked about by Edmund Burke back in the 19th century. And I just wanted to read a little something, because if various people that have sent different things on different applications will think about this it might inform at least my view on things a little bit. So Burke argued that his behavior in Parliament should be informed by his knowledge and experience, allowing him to serve the public interest. Indeed, as he put it, his unbiased opinion, his mature judgment, his enlightened conscience, he ought not to sacrifice to you, to any man, or to any set of men living. Your representative owes you not his industry only, but his judgment, and he betrays instead of serving you if he sacrifices it to your opinion. And while, yes, we do listen to, of course, we're informed and listen to any of the comments that are given to us by any, on any of these applications by any interested parties. We're actually one step removed from any sort of like legislative body, where, as Warren usually says, right, a quasi judicial body or something to that effect. And we've been appointed by a town board, and we undergo a lot, decent amount of training. And as there's years that accumulates, the longer you serve on the board, how much training you have. And we have to, and then we also use our judgment and thoughts on things to inform those opinions and decisions that we make. And it's just, we're not here to disregard the public, and we're also not here to do exactly maybe as you might feel we should in any particular application. And that's it. I just wanted to to say that. And is when we look at the laws, we're also sometimes we're very bound in by what we can and can't do, or how we have to look at things, the black letter of the law. But then also there's other times when, like, okay, this might be what's in the comprehensive plan, or this is what's in the statute, but we have to use common sense and look at the situation in the town, and might choose to not take those certain recommendations to black letter and do it exactly as you might say. And that's and that's only where we are given that discretion by the law. Anyway, that's all, my 2 cents. So to start off, we have this Stissing Center site plan amendment. And first of all, I guess the applicant is here. And is there any additional submissions since? No. So the one thing that we do have is the 239M, if we can pull that up. And so that is 239M is when we submit to the county any application that has a certain criteria. We have to submit it to the county for their comments, county planning. And they said it was a matter of local concern, but submitted what, non-binding comments, Warren? Is that what you would?
Mm-hmm.
uh, So let's look at that.
I'm sure it just. It was like 5 seconds. on it.
Wow.
10 seconds. 20. Okay.
So if we scroll
Okay.
down.
Yeah. You want the letter?
Yeah, that's what I want to see. Okay, yeah, good. So if you see on here, they talked about the matter of local concern, but they offer the following comments. About the foot candles for the parking lot, and they're worried about the sky glow from the, what is it called? The cowl, the wall on the back staircase, the Cowell wall? We don't know. Cowell lighting system for the rear addition stairwell to be lit at night. But is my understanding, it's to be lit at night only during when the place is active, when
That's correct.
before and after performances, and only on those nights. Would it be lit at night normally? Like if you're just like,
No, there's no reason. That's the stairs and the elevator, and when we're closed, it's like your house. There's no reason to light the stairs.
is there some nights where there'll be like rehearsals or things like that? Does
I
that
would imagine there are. One of the things that we've talked about around the dressing rooms, because of light bleed, is the ability to turn on dark blue lights. So you turn off, it's a standard stage thing. You turn off the overhead lights. You turn on the dark blue lights, just like a dark room. You can see, but there's no bleed from that light, if you will.
Okay.
So that's, I mean, other than occasional, when we have events or when we're in the building, that's off when we're not there.
And this was basically an alternative to piping lamps throughout the parking lot, or something, like why the translucent wall?
So the translucent wall was created partially out of the capacity to save electricity internally during the day. And it serves a dual function, that at nighttime, when you're lighting up those emergence, that stairwell, if you will, and the elevator, you get the natural. What comes through, it's translucent. It's not like light through your window, it's translucent. So that would give a very soft light to that parking lot without having to put up parking lot lights in the parking lot. Because right now it's about as black as it can be back there at nighttime. And the wall just serves a double purpose.
And it's a gravel parking lot, and
It's a gravel parking lot. It's an uneven space. There's tons of traffic through there because of Sissing House traffic. The patrons of the Mexican restaurant need a place to park when Sissing House fills up our stuff. And frequently when there's something happening at the garden, there's 1,000 people parking back there. So it's a rather busy parking lot 24/7, honestly.
Anyone have any questions and comments about? Oh, that's right. Kate, of course, is abstaining.
I don't
Recusing.
disagree with county planning, but this is what I said last month, and thank you for reading my comments. I just think we should write it into the site plan. Midnight to 6, no lighting. Which is already in our local law, it's already in the zoning. But I think it should be specifically written into this plan. That would take care of this.
No what?
Exterior lighting. From midnight to 6.
And that wouldn't count. Well, what about lights that kind of like emanate from like the one that's in, I know that they usually have the one on in the foyer, in the glass foyer, the ice cubes or whatever.
Oh, yeah, they're low. I mean, that's very
Right,
soft.
so that's not,
And that's internal.
that's internal, even though it's emanating.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, that would be a question for Drew, but I don't think that would count.
Well, yeah, where is Drew's not here?
No, they're on now,
Oh.
pretty much most of the time, and they're not really
I think the
It's not
law
like the outside-
specifies outside
side lights.
lights.
I saw Brett shake his head yes, that was fine with him,
I
right?
mean, the only outside lights, the external lights that we have are those dinky little side lights that run down the driveway. Everything else is all internal right now. There are no other external lights per se, but point is,
Right.
our lights go out. I think everything's on a timer for 11 o'clock. So.
It would be rare that the thing would even approach, an event even approaches midnight, like people.
We have some community events coming up that they want to run them later. And we make it clear you're out of the building by 11. So we kind of hold to that, out of respect for our neighbors and respect for the town.
Yeah, I just would, we want them like getting banged for like, oh, like there's some event, they went late, they're emptying out people or maybe even still in the parking lot or something like that, like how do, I don't know, is there a way to put language in there, Warren, like
Yeah,
12
so
to,
just let me get the language that you want.
Okay.
External language,
well, I guess 12 to 6 AM?
no external lighting from 12 to.
You could just say unless there's an event that goes or something like that.
And to be clear, that's not specific to the Sissing Center. That is already the law in the town.
So what do we need to put in the bill?
I think-
Yeah, but except like the bank, like there are a lot of places that do have their lights.
Right, this is now a specific consideration to this, and with the
For
comments
tractor.
specifically from county planning, I appreciate the comments, but. I think that's a little much for the circumstance, and maybe just reiterating the current local zoning law in the site plan.
Yeah, I guess we use it as stated and, that it complies with as section, whatever that section is in the zoning law. But otherwise, I don't know, was there any other outstanding issues that were left over that we just, after our discussion last week?
I
Yep.
just have a question on, so the lights on the side are gonna be changed. On the side, they're gonna be lowered.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
if I understand, Vicky, maybe I misunderstood, but that was what you guys addressed back in December. And the problem with those lights is they actually are kind of movable, but yeah, that's all gonna be, we didn't change them yet because we want to take care of getting that side paved. And then we'll take care of changing out all that lighting,
Okay.
but yes, that's on the to-do list.
So then I have a couple of other questions.
Sure.
The sign that's on the stairway now, the green. And. Green,
The logo.
the logo.
Yeah.
Is that going on the stairway?
Oh,
The
when
new
we put up,
stairway?
no,
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 all right, because it's
it'll
not
just be open.
on the.
No.
On the plans. And then also, there is on the plan from 2016 that was approved. There are lights in the front that were to shine on the Stissing Center,
On the front.
on the front stairs where it says, where the concrete wall.
It was gonna be.
Ah.
etched with it.
There were lights that were shining on that concrete wall. So I just, I actually think that some of these things, and I was gonna ask Warren, we had discussed it at the last meeting. There also was a sign. Now, these are all things that have been approved,
Right.
but they have a way of reappearing. And, and being said that, well, this has been approved. I just want to know, a lot of the things that are on there that have been changed several times. If we could just take those off, if there's some wording that this document that we have now is the final document. The
That's,
things that were approved before that were never done, it's been 7 years. And I'm sure in the beginning, if you look back, there were lights on each corner of the building. I just wonder if those things can be taken. I
but
don't
this
know,
is,
taken
this
off
is
the-
what, I thought that's what we discussed, that this site plan is now complete.
Yeah, but these things weren't mentioned. Like the lights in the front weren't mentioned.
So they're there
It's-
now?
No, they're not there.
So,
They
but so if
came
it's not
off.
on this site plan, then it's not approved.
Okay, but we have no wording because,
Well, Warren can put that in there and make sure they're clear that it's this.
I would be, we have a final site plan that they will have to be in compliance with. That will be the final site plan.
Okay, and that's
That,
my
that all
next-
other versions.
Supersedes any previous
Supersedes any
approvals.
prior approval. I mean, we can't keep going through this.
right,
And we talked about
So-
how those things that were not done, except the only one that would be like, things that were not done or have like expired basically, because they were not done, except for the one that we just approved last year. But that's on here, right?
right. And there's also no, on this one, there's no railing or there's no wall around the stairs on the going down. I think they said, weren't sure. I can't remember. I mean, I don't think there's anything on this current map.
The
railing.
stairs going down towards the cellar.
Yeah.
Down on the other side, on the driveway side, next to the Shaw House.
I think, I might be wrong, Vicky, but I think there are currently railings already built into those sidewalls. So as you walk down those steps.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying it's not on this site plan.
I thought,
I don't,
I thought,
I mean, they're built is what I'm saying. The stairs going down to the cellar. are
there's a
already done.
wooden wall there now.
Oh, the
yeah, I thought
On the
Doug
west
said that
side.
there was going to be, that was gonna be replaced with some.
I'm sorry.
what's that, my friend?
Just what did, I thought Doug addressed that list.
He did. That's, there will be a railing there, Vicky. He did address that at the last
He
meeting.
did,
I'm
but-
sorry, you're on the
I'm on the other
You're on
side.
the other
I
side.
know there's a railing.
Is it on
other
the
side
site
and a
plan is the
fence.
question?
It is. It should, at least, let me rephrase that.
It should be.
We discussed it at the last meeting. Doug, actually, Vicky had brought it up. And Doug did address it at that point. Whether or not it's physically drawn, I
Yeah.
don't know. I did
I
look
think
at
it
it. so
should
Vicky
be.
brought it up.
As a final. I think it should be on.
It's
there.
on the-
by.
There's something there. Yeah, I'm saying their insurance company will tell them.
It's not on and they decide to do something else.
What, is there not some sort of wall around the stairs?
Yes,
Do you see how that,
Yeah,
there's like a,
this,
it looks like it might even be concrete, right? It's gonna be-
and then there's.
Because it's
Well,
thick,
Doug also
it's
said
it's
it
like
wasn't
6 inches
doable.
thick.
And there's a low railing at the top of that because the wall.
Right.
okay, and just one other thing, there was a sign. In the front by the curb cut on the left. So,
One that was approved in December, Vicky.
no, this was a sign that was from 2016. And at the time it was discussed, we said there was a sign law and they had come up with. Like adding like the name of the theater, the downstairs, it was to be a multi-use sign for
It's,
the center. That,
is it there?
it's not there, but it was there and it was approved.
But now it's,
So I just wanna, so that would be, they,
That wouldn't be approved.
that would,
Right.
okay, all right.
so it was on the building or on the ground?
It was on the ground out
But, and it
front.
was approved but never put in.
And the other thing
Wait,
is,
why don't you answer the question?
So it was approved and never put in.
right. it-
Okay,
right.
all right, so it's not here, so then we should be good on that. It's not on the site.
So it
It's
won't
not approved.
appear in 2 years
Correct.
and then,
Right, if this is the Bible going forward.
okay.
The other sign is there, the one to the parking lot.
And the other thing is is it gonna be a parking spot? Or is it gonna be a sidewalk? All of these drawings show a sidewalk. On the left-hand side of the
As you're
building.
facing the building.
Yes,
If the drawing shows the sidewalk, that's what it will be.
okay,
Existing curb cut. Yeah, so currently like a car would park there during the day, you'll see a car parked.
Correct, so we've been using, oh, yeah, okay, now my brain's working, so we've been using it, it's closest to the door. So when we go and get the supplies, it's easy to load it out. Obviously, that'll change once the rear addition's on, because now we can access an elevator and move the stuff through the building. And if it's on the drawing, Vicky, as a sidewalk, then that's what it will be.
It says creeping lily turf, so that's
Right,
grass.
it.
Is that one- is that-
Landscaping,
So it'll be planted from going forward and it's not gonna be,
If that's, whatever's on that is indeed what. it
Okay.
will be.
what's this,
You talking about where Stacy plays?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
You can
George,
talk
what
about
is this
that.
thing
Okay.
in that lily vert, whatever, like what does that symbol mean?
Just the pre-existing.
Just
Oh, yeah.
people pulling in.
There's no standard for what that would mean or not.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just hatching that they
Yeah,
did, you know.
There's the one on the other side, is that,
Those might be, I bet you those are the dry wells, yeah.
okay,
Those are the dry well grates that
So
those
not-
exist. Yeah.
so just a grate like in the ground. Okay,
That's all. Hold on a second.
yeah.
When when the construction is going on, they do know that we do have a start time in town. Dougie, what time is it?
7 AM, I think.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, you know, in all our other things, people talk about the traffic and just wondering how they feel about when the construction actually does start.
So you wanna
In
have a
town.
time limit
Well,
for,
no, I don't, how they feel about it and are they aware, you know, that can't start till 7?
So I think. We have
And-
we have the contractor. Who did the work for us before, so
Oh,
I'm sure
great.
they're aware of that time. I can't speak to what they know, I'm making an assumption, and.
And I was just thinking of like Saturdays and Sundays and the parking situation out front. Well, that, I'm sure he'll consider all that.
well, they have the, I mean, there shouldn't be construction vehicles right on the street there, right? It'll be in the back likely,
Well, I
yeah.
don't know, my friend,
Yeah.
we're still working out the
Right.
logistics of it all.
Uh,
I think it should be given some thought. And give it
to say
people
what,
out
like to
there.
say whatever possible, the construction vehicles. Should be relegated to the back parking.
No, I don't
Going
think it should
beyond
be,
the
but,
site plan, I mean, whatever,
okay,
whatever requirements there are for construction, Drew will take care of that. You're just approving the site plan.
okay,
Well,
I just want to,
I mean, there are other times when we ask like, oh, you have like, you know, Carson Power, we're worried about the flag
That's
man
the-
and all
that's the
those.
Special permit site plan, that's a different.
okay,
All right,
all right.
I mean, if you want to oppose it, just let me know. We'll put it into the resolution.
No, I just thought it should be brought up because it is the center of town.
okay.
Was the front marquee sign ever redesigned? I never saw anything to that effect.
It says the Stissing Center. Are you talking about the side ones? Oh yeah, what'd you guys
Yeah.
decide on the side? Remember the CTR versus Stissing?
We have
They're still working on them,
we have our meeting tomorrow, I'm sure they will engineer something that isn't CTR.
but we can't tell them what to put on the sign. We can only say what size the sign is, so it doesn't really matter as far as.
Well, you have to approve the sign. I mean,
Well, we approve the marquee, they put a marquee.
Yeah. what
We
the
can't,
substance-
we can't deal with
No.
the substance. If they want to put an abbreviation, they can put an abbreviation.
Yeah, that's up to.
But we have no problem with the location of those marquees on the side or in the front, correct? Okay. All right. So with that.
I move we approve the site plan amendment.
Okay, do we have to do a seeker? We have to do a seeker on this or
I think
no?
you've already done a seeker for this project. The question is there anything in this site plan which causes you to reopen your examination of the seeker? I don't think so. So,
No.
seeker is done for
So,
this
no.
project.
And we close the public
So
hearing.
we close the public hearing and, you can get me the minutes of every meeting at which this was discussed. I can try to put together, if I can, a resolution approving this site plan.
Sounds good. But yeah, the straw vote is we're gonna approve it when, once we see the official resolution.
Yeah,
from Mark.
subject to the formal resolution vote.
And-
Is everybody in agreement that you're approving this site plan?
Should I ask, should I pull the?
Yeah.
Okay, so can I have a motion to direct Warren to draft a resolution approving this site plan?
So
Second,
Vicky?
I,
aye.
Dick? Oh, no, he can't vote.
Aye.
And I also vote aye.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we'll get that resolution next month. We have the official approval. Thank you. All right, next, Stewart's shop, Marcus. I don't know, similarly, let's deal with the 239M.
The black
Oh.
is gone.
Okay, we'll share it and we'll, and then. Well, let's look at that first and then have Marcus give us any changes in light of,
Thanks, that-
looking at that. And now, okay, so now no one's recused for this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you're still on. Scott, still.
Nice, I have. And nudge if I know. I will.
Okay, so we received the county planning actual comments where we are bound by them, at least to the point of it would require a supermajority to overrule the comments they're making in this. So here we go. And so the comments in regards to the pumps being on the side of the building, not in the front of the building. And it recognizes that the zoning board approved the setback over of 138.5 foot variance, which I guess you add to the 25 foot to get the total setback allowed. And they did that with the supermajority over the objection of county planning. And then they acknowledged the fact that the construction would cause it to be closed for a longer period of time. And they go on to say that this is obviously not in accord with our comprehensive plan and the zoning. They give some examples, at least one. Is there more than one on here? Is this where it ends? Okay. Where they give this Schenectady store, and George has found some more stores around where they do put the store up near the sidewalk and have the pumps on the side. So it could be done, whether or not it could be done on this piece of property. Something I guess the applicant would opine on. And then they also talk about the foot candles being too high under the gas canopy. Since that's kind of like the easy, and then they talk about how we also have to, in order to overrule these comments, we would have to vote as a supermajority. And they recommend us not granting this approval of the site plan as it stands. Just to deal with the lighting, so I asked George about that, so what, can you talk about what they're concerned with the lighting here under the canopy?
Yeah, I mean, it's always bright under the canopy, and that's standard in all gas stations. So that really doesn't bother me. I guess I'm not too worried about it. I mean, again, if you look at the foot candles at near the property lines, it's fine. Yes.
So it's
Pumps
6,
are like in the middle and under. the
You're
canopy.
an average of just under 13, it's like 12.8 under the canopy.
so where are they getting 16 plus?
16 is, there's one point of the 16, I believe, right here, but
you're an average of 12.8, I believe, under the canopy.
And that seems quite drastic. They're recommending 5.
Yeah.
That seems
Yeah.
like, what's 5 foot count? That's gotta be pretty dim, no?
Very dim.
It is, yeah, it's, and
Well,
it's
what is
not.
there
not
now?
in Keeping with other.
To be honest, I don't know. I can, we can run the numbers on the lights that are installed today, but I guarantee it's more than 5.
I mean, if you've ever been into,
Yeah, but
Most
that's
gas
the whole
stations.
point. We don't want it to
right?
be.
It's, it's lit up more where the pumps are, where the people are, and it gets dimmer as you go towards the building even, right? You see the light again when you get to the building, it dims between the two. The light is really under, and the idea is that it's all downlit under the canopy to make that bright and accessible for people. Everyone doesn't see as well as everybody else. So I mean, I understand the concept. Again, I haven't had an issue with it in any other gas station. I haven't seen any complaints from public in other gas stations that I've reviewed and approved. It's pretty standard to be lit around the same level.
And what,
Under the canopy.
Sorry, go ahead.
what is the edges? Like, so when we start getting out towards the edge, what's that? Like at the sidewalk near Dale's place?
I mean, remember when we all went
At
down
the
and looked
property
at the
line,
lights?
we're-
What was that?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
What was? that?
Yeah, I'm just
Okay,
saying.
we
they
had them.
weren't-
did-
That's the
were-
sidewalk around the building.
So-
Around the building. On, at the property lines, I believe we're down to close to 0.
Close to 0, yeah.
Typical
Close to 0.
at the property lines. Our typical canopies, this is probably half the light of a typical canopy. We're, to be honest, probably overlit on most. We're between 24 and probably 30 foot candles under a canopy typically.
It's hard having a reference point,
Yeah.
like what this means, like, what's this? Like, we don't know. No estimate, no
Well,
way.
Can we find out can you let us know what they are at the current,
What they are existing.
currently? Yeah.
Can we match those foot candles? Is that what you're looking for?
Well, we want to just understand, we're trying to understand what that is versus what the new plan is going to be.
So everybody drive down and.
Mm-hmm.
get gas.
Well,
Treating for ice cream after the meeting?
And then they go off at night, right?
Correct.
I mean, at 12 or 11.
They're off a half hour. It's pretty much a half hour after close and a half hour before opening, just for security for our closers and openers.
haven't
these lights been addressed?
all right, Doug, we can't, we're not having a we could close the public hearing last week, so
Okay.
I'm sorry, but we can't.
I guess one of the other things to think about too is lighting is typically a seeker kind of image. And there's no seeker on this.
Okay, but I mean, we have like dark sky guidelines in our zoning codes.
Downlit,
Yeah.
full cutoff under a canopy, so it is technically dark sky compliant.
Well, he just said he'd match what's there, so we could always go with that.
Well, what this is less, you know, so whatever's less, so whatever's less. And the fact that it's like 0 at the edge sounds like. Yeah, sounds good. Now the more stickier issue is the whole setback issue, and maybe Warren. Now, we need to know exactly where we stand in this whole, the ZBA has already approved this setback. What is our place in, and now in the light of these comments, does that change things? Like what's going on?
You have to decide whether these comments affect your decision or not, and then tell me. If you decide that the comments, you're not going to abide by those comments, you have to advise me as to what your decision is. And the reasons supporting it. I can't supply that for you. You're the decision makers.
Right, but I'm
But
asking
the
what we
ZBA
can do.
approving it, or
You don't have to do with the
does, we
CBA.
don't have to do what the
No.
ZBA or recommends or approved.
No.
or
No, you're not bound by that. Well.
Why is
I
there
think
that
you are bound
process then?
by the ZBA variance. I think you have to, you can't vary the variance that was granted by the ZBA.
Okay, well, there's our.
Well, we can't make it bigger, but can we dictate that to be less?
Pardon?
We can't make it big. Does that mean we just can't make it bigger, or we can dictate that it could be less?
To be less.
So we could say less, we just can't say more.
Yeah.
As far as overruling the, or whatever, not going with the
Because
ZBA.
That's binding on your ZBA determination.
Right, we can, but it's for only in the greater than
Hmm.
sense, not in the less than.
Right.
We can make it more conforming, require the applicant to make it more conforming. Is that what you're saying? All right. And there's a couple of places, the Schenectady place, and where did you find George? In Monticello or
On my
something?
way to Monticello, yeah, the 209, 209 and
The one in
52.
Schuylerville too is on
But
the
again, I think
side.
the, you know, the idea, right, is trying to get a balance here between what achieves the town's goals and needs and desires, right? Obviously, the road time being down impacts everybody. Any visual impact on the gateway to the community, if you will, as the comprehensive plan speaks to it, has impacts on people, but you know, again, have they mitigated those impacts with landscaping, with walls, with, you know, appropriate lighting and things so that they're not turning your gateway into a truck stop, for instance? You know, again, these are the things that the board has to think about. Again, the ZBA did grant a variance, so you can put it back here. So, I mean, the county planning is giving you their opinion based on what they're reading in your comprehensive plan, and again, you guys have to make the decision of, okay, well, that's a very strict black and white reading, and it's not necessarily wrong or right or anything, but it is what it is, and then there's a plan, and does it get it over the line or doesn't it?
We had some pictures of the property, right? Did you submit that, Marcus? Can we pull those up? It was like some street views of what it looks like.
The Google Street Views coming into town.
Oh, so just on Google, or you can just,
They were just the Google ones, yeah.
whatever's easier, Tricia, if you could just pull up, if you want to pull up Google Maps. Because I might want you to look up another place. So maybe Google Maps would be better, because I don't know how to do this. Or you can hand me them, or I can come over there and I can. I hate to be a pest. I should have thought of this before and send you links. I sent you that bird via email, right?
I think so, yeah.
What the heck town was that? Kurt, start with a K.
I think Massachusetts or something.
No, it starts with a W. It's like east of Albany.
Thank you.
WK. Last.
You have on that. This computer, the stuff from Schenectady.
That's where we're gonna pull up next.
Oh,
So let's
okay.
look at ours and then we'll look up this, we can look up Schenectady or this other one that I found in some town I've never been to.
This little guy's street.
Yeah, that's street.
This little guy,
I'm
right?
sure.
Yeah, and then just drop them down near the
It's Schuylerville.
Tappan Z. Oh, that's that.
The shed.
Well, wait a second.
We moved the Tappan Zee Bridge twice. Oh, yeah, that's the canopy, yeah. So take the guy. And then drop them right
Right on the blue line.
on the blue line. Yeah, you start there, that's good. And this is,
Do you want me to share this with everyone at home?
oh, yes, please. So, you know, I look at this. And I guess you gotta try to picture like where the canopy, oh,
It's, you know,
yeah, no
that's the
problem.
way. Share it.
So I was gonna say where the canopy, when you look at it, where the canopy is gonna be versus where it is now and how the foliage, and then think about they're gonna put in the wall and the slightly bigger, greener area in the front, right? It's bigger than it is now.
The proposed canopy pretty much lays out to where the front of the existing building is today.
Yes, wine skill, I don't know.
Wine skill?
Yeah, whatever that's. So we'll look at that next.
And again, we can look at them, and I've said it before, all sites are different. Wine and Skill,
I understand.
Schenectady, the McClellan one that was also referenced by the county, brand new sites that we built on. There were no constraints at all.
Okay, so, all right, we're looking at this now, so. I mean, the sign's gonna move slightly to the south. And slightly, and then,
And slightly into the
East.
property, yeah.
okay. So that's towards this picture and then slightly to the right. I mean, there's trees, obviously, hopefully the trees stay, we end up with that question again came up in another application, but, and I think if we, that's what you're driving into town and seeing, and like, now if the building's back further and the canopy now is just going longitudinal from the property line to heading towards Dales, like basically ending a little bit to the east of where the current canopy ends. Is it really going to create this much difference? In my mind, I just
Where is?
lay out my opinion. In my mind, so you can see the right side of the canopy ends where the new canopy. Yeah,
Where's the current one? That's
Current
the
canopy
Yeah.
is right here. That's the proposed canopy, current building here. It's a proposed building.
what are those circles in
Yeah, what-
the curb cuts area? Like, what are
There's catch basins for drainage.
those are catch
Yeah.
basins?
Do you have the landscaping plan?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, so you got a tree going right there. That's a tree, I take it, the big green line.
There are trees along here, along this edge. There will be some additional trees up here. The existing large tree is proposed to stay.
You're not cutting any of these trees then?
The one tree, the tree on the right side of the access drive is not ours. We did
Right.
not touch it.
I understand.
The tree on the left-hand side, right by our sign, there's no proposed to touch that tree at all.
Nor this one.
Right.
Oh, that's.
Well, this one's
that's-
not, that's Dale's.
Yeah.
And. There's more trees going in instead of those bushes.
There are a few trees proposed in the front, as well as a bed of perennials or shrubs that we're proposing around the wall. And again, trees along the north property line with shrubs, and then trees and shrubs and perennials.
So you're talking about putting 3 trees in on that other side.
In this island here? Is that what you're talking?
Yeah, is that 2 trees and a?
These are
Which
3
is the
trees.
trees?
They're just
The
different.
green,
Oh.
darker green circle and the lighter green circles are both trees.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
oh,
different
alright.
style trees,
All right.
evergreens.
Steve, what were you asking?
Didn't you show us one day of the proposal with them on the side like that? Remember?
With the buildings?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we've gone through all the different options that we showed the ZBA as well.
I mean. Is it, I mean, in my mind, it's not, it's there already. It's not much different. They already bought the other piece of land behind, and we already went over that. We're not gonna go over that again, or we expressed our displeasure. Knowing how that's used, right? Like, who's walking down that end of town? Like,
You'd be
kids-
surprised.
so you think the kids are gonna not walk down there because it's not close to, I mean, who's?
Oh, no, but I mean, there are a lot of people that walk to that end of town now.
That
But they're
walk
walking,
to
but they're
Stewart's.
walking
Yeah.
to Stewart's.
Right.
They're not
Yeah.
like looking to. They're not strolling and like, oh, look, there's a Stewart's. I'm gonna walk into it because it's near the curb, But I mean, let's
The
jumping.
sidewalk ended our
Yeah,
presentation.
Right.
Walking to
Right.
the site from town.
Right,
Yeah.
so and just before I'm actually jumping the gun, let's pull up this, one of the ones, like, I like this one that I found, the one. Wyan skill.
Wine and Skill.
So if we go steward shop, YN skill, so it's WYN. I can look at.
Y, Y, and
There you
There
go.
it is.
Boom. And then same thing near the street view once you get there. And of course, this seems to be more in a more central, like more of a town location in my mind, but yeah, so grab the dude. Drop him
you put them right in the blue line.
on the blue line.
There you go.
There you go. So we want to, so there's, okay, let's. Can you pivot to the right? We want to go, yeah, keep going. Okay, keep going. Want to see the building. Okay, so you see they have the building, they have the little tables out front there. And there's gonna be tables outside.
Around the building, yes.
Around the building.
Yes,
But I mean, this is obviously, this is a somewhat busy, more centrally located location, it seems. Let's look down the street a little bit, Tricia.
This
But-
is bigger than the one that you're putting on Pine
Well-
Plains, right? The building.
no, it's probably a little smaller.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking the building or the
Yeah, the
overall
building.
site? The building itself, I would say the age that we built at, it's probably closer to 37 or 800 instead of 3,900.
So that has a front door and a side door.
Correct.
And that was new construction.
That was new construction. Good question. There might have been one there before on the other, closer to the corner, or closer, further, I guess, where are we, south?
Can you put the mouse down slightly to the bottom and oh no, it's not gonna give you the arrow. I wanted to move slightly that way. Actually,
If you just scroll a full 180
Yeah.
and then you can go straight, yep.
yeah, go there and then just move that way so we can see the
There you
whole
go.
site at once. Now, click
Just
on the
click.
arrow, like heading towards, yeah,
Yep.
that way. 1, 2, 3, probably. We'll do it. One more. Good. Now turn back around. Sorry.
And
Getting
then
them.
do the hokey pokey.
Well, keep
Yeah,
turning.
zoom in on that.
Keep turning.
It really is.
Keep turning, so we can see both. There you go. One more a little bit.
Like this.
Yeah, you go. Right, so this is wide open. It's got, this kind of busier street thing with these turning lanes and all this.
But this is not what the one is gonna be.
Right, because this is the side, this is where they accommodated having the pumps on the side and then up near the
Okay.
curb, right? So this
That's
is,
the same as Schenectady, it's the same
Right.
layout, same building, same in the front, same one I saw, I think it was in Ellenville.
right,
Same exact kind of scenario. So that's what I'm saying is that's like what the Dutchess County Planning Board is saying is, look, you could bring it to the front, you could face out and blah, 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 blah. And so that increases the construction time and the time that we're down at gas and everything else. So what I'm saying is, obviously, you've got the one way of addressing coming in, right, by bringing everything to the front and making it on the sidewalk, et cetera. Or, the thing that we, have to debate is it also mitigated by the fact that it's landscaped, you got a big green area and sidewalk, and so you didn't necessarily, turn it into, like I said, a truck stop.
right, it's not.
No, I think the trees
Yeah.
make a huge difference.
The existing trees.
Yeah.
Just the trees plus all the ones.
Give you what really your comprehensive plan was looking for, narrowing that entrance to town.
Isn't the canopy
Canopy's different.
different?
Yeah.
Right, this
Yeah,
is,
This is a
This is a
big-
cube of 4.
Yeah, this
This
is
is straight,
long.
this, that is, probably approximately 50 by 50. This is like 20 by 100.
and they didn't match the roof.
They didn't match
Like
the-
ours are gonna have the
Right,
matching
yeah.
roof.
Yeah, that's right. Look, to me,
Yeah. But and then, you come up against the whole, I friends with Scott and, I like, his opinion's very valuable to me, but like, he kind of hand waves at 2 more months of construction if everything goes well, where there's no gas in town. And that in my mind is a burden on land, people who live in the town, landscapers, farm people, anyone who needs gasoline, then you gotta drive. I mean, I guess you could drive to Millerton, as a close, so any which way you go, it's 15 minutes to drive somewhere one way. So it's like 2 months of no gas.
Also 10 cents a gallon more.
Okay, Doug, I thank you. Please, I'm sorry. And in my mind, I don't think the difference between this and especially with the trees and the kind of park-like nature with the front with the wall, and then to have it up near the curb when people are walking to that end of town to go to Stewart's. And I don't think it creates like this wide open truck stoppy thing, there we are approving. Now, if we approve this landscaping plan as part of the site plan, they have to keep that up through the years or whatever. So Doug, Drew would be able to be like, hey, you get, that tree died or whatever
Right,
happened.
so a couple of those big trees came down,
We gotta
I'd
replant.
have to replant.
Do you have the big
Or-
ones
or
on the
upstairs.
plan?
Just
The
just
one-
the one that's,
The one there.
just the one there. The other
That's
one
not yours.
Probably there.
What about up at the other end?
I don't believe there is any.
There's one, there is one.
On the north side.
But I think they're on their.
I think it's not on our parcel.
It's not.
There, yeah, those are like down in the little.
Maybe, or maybe it's on Dale's.
There's not much past that edge of pavement, existing edge of pavement that's.
So I need the board to tell me what I've told you what I think. And then some people, so what are we telling the applicant?
Well, I think that the Stewart's has been part of this community for 25 years, something like that, longer.
At least, yeah.
And it's part of the landscape here. And I think that this is an improvement to what's there now. Backs it up a little bit from the road, which I think is just fine. The pumps are further away from the road. And all that landscaping in the front is what people are gonna see when they come in, and that is
Mhm.
better than pumps, so.
The standard is to the extent practicable, it's not mandatory. That's the language in the code.
And the practical comes in if we view the,
Question is whether it's practicable. I mean, you have to consider all aspects of the plan.
is that, sorry.
I did have another point. You would send us citations of where the requirements for signage were for gas pump things. And you pointed out that it's not required that those the sign by the road have a LED sign.
And that was my mistake. I
Yeah.
found that.
Can you adjust that so we don't have we just have, I don't even see why you
we
advertise
need to
gasoline
advertise,
prices
right.
these days. I mean, I would just
If you want
say
to drive down
gasoline,
the road and just,
where they're gonna find you. They're gonna find you.
but they're gonna find me at $5 a gallon? Or are they gonna drive by if I'm showing $5 a gallon?
I'll be driving by if you.
Yeah.
No,
I'm saying, I mean.
I'd also like to advertise $2.99 a gallon. And have you drive
Yeah,
in instead of drive by, knowing you gotta have a
When's that
tank
gonna
and go to the next place.
Yeah.
So what the citation said that it,
An acoustic sign, a sign that, I mean, it could be just plain numbers. I'm sure they do signs that are just numbers that are not
Does not
backlit.
have to be in.
And it could
You're
be, you know,
correct. You're
so I mean,
correct.
that would be my recommendation. Do that. It'll be, draw more attention to the flowers. People,
They're gonna find
you
it
don't
in
have,
a
you
place
don't have
down the road.
competition in town for gasoline. So I don't think it'll affect your gas sales at all.
No, I do believe we've been grandfathered in, no, correctly?
Do you have an LED? Is there an
There's-
LED?
LED, no.
You might be, you can make that argument.
they want to add another one and make it
For
green
diesel.
for diesel.
But the sign is grandfathered in, not what's on the sign, correct?
There's only
If
two.
it was,
Right.
You're putting a new sign up.
we'd have to
Keep it.
evaluate that.
Well,
I
didn't we
think,
want to discuss
I
this?
think
already?
we want this
Yeah.
project to go forward.
So-
You're right. No. I'm not walking out of here because
fine.
over the
I
sign.
copy
No, that's not.
Well, that's the next thing. Well, can we have the sign? Do you have the sign?
I brought
Or do we want Tricia to pull it up?
some handouts, pretty much what I emailed, so. you
Can we
bring
pull it up on the screen, please? The different versions? Or the sign, and we asked for revisions on the sign,
Yeah.
so. But all of them have an LED component currently.
But that's when you're dealing with usually. Great. Series of gas stations.
What? What's up?
Nothing.
That are permitted, that sign was permitted? Was before zoning? Before zoning,
Before zoning,
Yeah.
yes.
The original one, yeah.
only had zoning for a couple of years.
And once we get it up, then you'll remind us on the different sizes, what's currently there,
Yep.
which is the one on the right?
This is the existing one.
That's the existing.
Which is 8, what?
Uh, yeah, 4 by 8,
8 even?
yeah,
What is the
4 by 8.
12.8 at the very top?
That is the overall with the roof on top of that,
How wide?
from roof edge to roof edge is 12 8.
Like this little.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out why is it 12 feet?
The
12 feet
sign,
long.
Sorry.
the sign itself is 8 feet wide. It's got the columns on each side. And then the roof overhang gets you to 12'8".
No, it's 10, but yeah. It's 8 feet high.
So which one's 10? There's none of them that are 10 high then, right? None of the options. 8, 8. What's that one?
I can't read that.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, we can't read it on that either.
You didn't apply for a variance for your sign?
It's approximately the same.
They're all
location, is it
8.
not?
Approximately the same location. It shifts. Well, further south a
Yeah, maybe
hair.
this
and then
one's
further
7.
East a hair. Into the lot and
Yeah, I don't like that one.
So not closer.
I like
to
the roof
stone
one.
wall that's there,
Somewhere, I think I like that one.
or will be there.
right.
For some
Well,
reason,
and that
having
gets-
the opening on the bottom seems to,
You stay on.
Not what his.
well, just
That
makes
gets
it look
back
so
into
much
the different
bigger.
designs. It's,
what, when there's no opening?
No, when there isn't.
Oh, I thought that looks bigger. Usually it makes it look bigger. Well, whatever, you like which one now? You like that one with no roof matching?
Oh,
roof?
no, well, no, so this one. With the,
Can you see, you don't have a thing?
I see that.
Oh, which one are you looking at?
Well, this one with the solid bottom seems more grounded. I don't know if that makes any difference. But the bottom, the open bottom will probably be obscured by the wall anyway.
That's what I was asking, where it was in relation
That's-
to the proposed wall.
that's where the third option. The third option is pretty much the same as what is today, just using really the, I guess, narrower sign that we're proposing. The issue with that is you're only 2 feet from the bottom of the sign to the grade. The wall itself, we're looking at approximately 32 inches, so the wall would block portion of that sign. To whereas the last one on the far right gets you to the base of the wall. So the only difference between those two on the right are the height of the overall sign.
Can you just remind me where the sign is in relation to the wall? It's in
It-
front of the
it's
wall,
Part of the wall.
part of the wall. Do we have a rendering?
That's the sign. This is the wall.
So it is a part
So-
of the wall.
It's part of the
Okay,
wall.
that's what I was asking.
Okay.
so then.
So man, then maybe
So then this stonework will match the,
Yes, it will match the wall.
so
Yeah,
it
we
will
need
be
it to
this
match,
gray
yes.
stone.
The gray stone is just, it's not a good representation.
Just a
We're
placeholder.
matching the stone.
Stone that's there. Oh.
We'll match the stone in the area.
So,
Yes,
so when you say part of the wall, kind of behind it,
it'll sit behind it. Yes, it'll,
so you won't even
sit
see the.
perpendicular to the
Don't see
wall.
base.
The base
You
of
won't see the base.
Ah,
Yes,
all right.
Yeah.
So then, so it's
not
option
from
two,
inside the lot. Yes.
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Option 2, Ethan?
If they don't have LEDs.
Well, yeah, we'll get, design.
But yes, option 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Scott, you're thinking the same?
I am, but I really don't have an objection to the LED. I have it because I'm there already.
I don't mind the red, the green bothers me, because like, night,
When
You know-
I drive a diesel, so take it easy.
I know. It's just, green, lights in general, it's like starts looking like,
Christmas.
yeah,
One thing that these do, and it's not huge, but it does make a difference. These LEDs are pretty much light sensitive to where at night they dim. Because you don't need as much light
Right,
at
right.
night. During the day, they're brighter.
so what?
This was we let them do that because remember, we didn't want the LED lights on the gas pumps.
No, but they are,
I think they were
No.
already,
They put them up and we said no.
right, but.
But
I
they
think
already
these
had the
were
sign.
I think that sign was already LED.
when they tried to do the LED on the gas pumps, was the same time when they tried to change the lighting in
Right,
in the
they
things,
were gonna
that
take
sign
away.
was there already. Do you know when the sign was? No,
So-
it was not part of the, because we didn't even talk about that, that was,
So which LED you're talking about? This is a sign now, the LEDs and the numbering, but it's not in the overhead. It's just a fluorescent downlight.
right.
Yeah,
So are you talking?
We're talking about
Now it's
the
gonna be red.
numbers, we're talking about the prices, it's gonna be red and then green,
So this is LED though,
yes.
yeah.
currently.
Right, and they're red, and red is always good for night vision, and, but I don't know what, so you don't want the LEDs at
I
bottom?
think we can get away from that. I mean, they have no competition in town. What's the advertising, the price affect your business? And so it's unnecessary.
I'm not a fan of the LED.
Not a fan of the LEDs. I'm gonna ask Warren a question in a second, but
I've got no
What are
problem.
you polling? No LED?
I'm finding out about who has objections to the LEDs. Ethan, you don't want the E LEDs.
Isn't it we have in our.
Right, but this
It
got,
says no LED lights, so,
beyond that,
yeah, no,
Without-
I don't want.
you don't want that, and you don't,
You
you don't want it. Now, Warren, they already have an LED sign there. Where, what, how does that,
Yeah, I think it requires a variance. This one is prohibited by our statute.
It- Where? I'm just curious, where? I couldn't find it in the code. That's why I asked.
it is, I wish Drew was.
75-52.
52? What does it say, though? There's nothing. in
I don't
there
know,
No.
I
LED.
can't pull that out.
No, there-
Not that
No
good.
lighted,
They're changing the sign. There's a different sign.
Yes, Warren has this book.
so once they change it, so then it's like it's a new
Yeah,
sign.
I mean, the problem, it does set a bad precedent for other LED lighting in the town. Without a variance, I have no problem with the sort of variance.
I mean, we've said no to everybody except the school and the firehouse.
Well, the school, we
Because
had,
Because they were,
we had no
no,
choice.
that's what I'm saying, like, we
Fire.
weren't- they were exempted.
I think it's your decision.
But they would need a variance. If we were to say like, yes, they could have the LED, they'd have to go back to the
Yeah,
ZBA.
they could approve it and then they can go for the variance after it's approved. After the regular sign is approved, the non-LED.
Right, I think you would approve it without LED and then it'd be on me to go.
Right,
That's what I'm saying. you
Yes.
know.
all right, so if you couldn't do LEDs, you would do the old school numbers or nothing? What would you do?
No, we would do either the old school numbers or there is mechanical, like a flip number.
Oh,
It becomes wider. I'd have to take a look. The base might be just, it's not narrow like this.
thicker,
It's thicker because of the mechanism
Right,
inside.
but not wide, so thicker, all right,
The-
deep or whatever you wanna call
Right,
it.
deeper, yes.
If you go online, you can find
Okay,
a million examples of.
all right, well, it sounds like the board doesn't want the LEDs. So. So with that, is there any other issues preventing? The,
One question. The second option.
Second option.
No LED.
no,
Okay.
275-52, section B, subsection 8.
And it says LED?
Signs with neon, this is under prohibited signs. Signs with neon, mercury vapor, low or high pressure sodium, and metal, I don't know what that word is, plastic panel, rear lighted signs or internally lighted signs.
That's an LED.
internally lighted.
I can overcome the county planning recommendation in a resolution. I'd rather not have to overcome the LED.
So if they don't do an LED, then they don't need a variance. If they don't want to try to
It's
go.
up to, it'll be up to them.
Okay.
So,
That's, yep, that'll be honest.
And yeah, if you want to do the flipper thing, that sounds like it's easier to get the prices changed. You don't have to have somebody go out there. And I know like sometimes those things even get messed up, right?
They
The
get messed
numbers
up,
fall
yeah.
off.
Unfortunately, we've seen
Oh,
pretty
alright.
quick price changing. Over
So
the
then
past
the
couple of
lighting
years.
shot, there'll be enough
It's-
lighting
it's-
on it.
Right, the
It'll be
downlit
downlit.
from the little roofy thing.
Yes,
And then, okay. So I mean, with that, then we can direct Warren, what do we need
well,
to?
do I have a site plan in final form with your landscaping plan? All of it?
yep.
The only thing he's changing is the sign
Just-
design.
That's the only thing changing.
Yep,
Okay. Yeah, I'll put a resolution together and I'll justify if you're deciding to override the county plan, you're gonna need a.
The reasons why it doesn't, we don't think it makes a material difference. There is vegetative screening there currently, and they're adding a whole bunch more. And that it would be a hardship on the community to have the additional construction weeks, months, whatever it is.
Okay,
All right. Okay. So we'll get that resolution next month. We should be able to vote on.
all right,
All right, thank you, Mark.
thank you.
Yeah, all right, next up is Carson Power.
Sorry, one thing. That is.
Oh, we did talk about
That
that.
is what we've done before. That's 7 foot high. The siding matches the building.
And so it's it for the dumpster
dumpster.
enclosure.
Nice.
It's a dumpster enclosure.
Not a fence.
Not a fence.
All right, sounds good. All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
next up, Carson Power. Oh, Sarah,
Yeah, I just want to recognize my office, Sarah Yeagle, and I'm.
Good evening, everyone.
hi, Sarah.
How are ya?
Mike, you want me to start?
Yeah, I guess there's Frank present the
yeah, I mean.
the part
To
three.
bring you up to date, I mean, we've narrowed the issues on the environmental review. To the issue of consistency with community character aesthetics. And we've asked our consultant planner to do a part 3 analysis for us to determine whether the impacts. We still classify them as moderate to large.
I have one.
So, like to review that and.
Good. What I just passed out, so if you would have hard copies of, is the.
We have an
actual
extra when you.
Part 3. If there's anyone that needs, I've got some extra copies of them that needs them, so I just want to just start with, where are we tonight, on the process? And what you have before you, and I know you've all got this electronically, so you've had a chance to read it through. But I just wanted to, give it out tonight. There's an appendix A to it, which, was given on a, Trick has on a flash drive. But I just gave.
Show them appendix A,
I
just so
gave
everyone knows.
appendix A to her, and the reason I am not distributing appendix A is for this reason. It's kind of big, but it gives you the whole submittal, record.
So appendix A is on the public drive, is that right? Or it's going to be? Was it not already there, most of it?
Tricia, I understand you have the flash drive, and what I did was a hard copy
Okay,
for you.
I don't,
So,
who gave you the flash?
But it's been the submissions that,
yeah, it's been all the submissions,
All this mission.
all the submissions.
Okay,
well, we'll just check the version, make sure the versions are all what's on that flash drive.
which
He's on.
flash?
if you don't have it, I understood that the applicant gave you
Oh,
a flash
yes.
drive.
The ones, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you wanted to-
Just make sure that's right.
Make sure that.
So those are the most up to date in the final submission.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the reason I just wanted to show you the reason I didn't make hard copies, that it was bringing home a dictionary, so, but appendix A, Trish has for the record, so you could have it here in town hall. But the key to here is what you have before you in the part 3 is actually a negative declaration, which says actually two things. No, there are no significant adverse environmental impacts to the proposed action in terms of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and 2, no, therefore, an environmental impact statement is not necessary. And we had discussed this, as you know, and those Saturday workshops, what are the two options? And I think it was June 19th or so, we discussed this last with the board, got a sense of where you'd like to go and narrowing down the option. And you directed us to develop part 3 with a negative declaration. But what I thought we wanted to do tonight is someone found a typo or spelling.
There's 2 typos.
Yeah, what we want
Spelling.
to do tonight is to just make sure that, just discuss this and review it, just to make sure everything's set on it. If there is something that you see that should be a revision or a typo, let me know. What we'll do is make revisions to that. And then, what we would do is get copies back, but particularly to Warren right away, because then Warren, the next step then after tonight would be for your resolution, a resolution to adopt the negative declaration. And so I think tonight the thought was, when I talked, Warren and I talked, is to make sure that everything was discussed, any last discussion or any last correction this evening. And as some of you know, some of this write-up was done by Sarah, which is why she's online here, so she'll also hear any comments that you have. And by the way, I can go through this and highlight it if you want. I presume you've all had the chance to, read it, but you're shaking your head. Yeah, I don't think I have to, but what I might do, what I might do is just, I'm not gonna read it.
No, don't read it, but do the highlight.
What I'll do is just so you know, the organization of it, the top part is just the DEC, it's just the state form. And eventually when the neg deck is made, the chairman should probably sign that. The neg deck, there's an attachment. The actual form is pretty short, as you can see, describes what you're doing. And the attachment goes through, several pages, couple pages of history, which we think is important. You as a board spent a lot of time on this. You had 3 Saturday workshops. I was at 2 of them, so I remember pretty well the detailed level that you went through on those workshops. I attended, I believe, 6 of your board meetings, so you spent a better part of this year on this and reviewing it. So I think my experience with these seeker reviews is you have spent a good amount of time in depth, and you have tried to take a hard look at what was before you. And also what I saw was, as you know, we started with an EAF that, if you remember Taylor Young, he presented to you. We had an EAF that had about 5 potential moderate to large impacts. And over time, as you made requests of the applicant, they responded. And also DEC responded on habitat, and Fisheries responded on habitat, the federal response. So as a result of all those responses, we narrowed down the issues to really habitat, and then to two issues, habitat, and then compatibility with community character. And what this does at the end, after history, is it goes through an analysis of those two uses, because where we check off, if you check something off that's large on the part 2 EAF, when you do the part three or the negative deck, you need to analyze it and show that analysis. Why those did not rise to a level of significance or adverse significance, I should say. And I think what I saw too in experience was the visual study was quite detailed, and you went through site visits, you Saratoga people who presented to you gave you a very detailed analysis. And so that was a very important part of this. And also what was important, I think, is those 2 letters on habitat plus your own studies, plus the commitments by the applicant for a conservation plan and the changes that they made in response to what you asked for. So that's what this essentially does. It says what the thought process was, the history of it, and supports the part 3 decision, which is the neg deck. So I'm being brief, I know, but I because you went through all of this for the last 6 months, to go through every word tonight would be, yeah, right, a little bit lengthy. But if there's questions from the board or, and I know there's 2 corrections, so.
Yeah. That was a
And just a note that there was revisions made already from Warren read it and
Oh, yeah, we worked
had extensive revisions.
with our engineer.
And I had a few things I talked to Frank about. and I
Yes,
made
this
the
went
change.
through, we sent everything originally to Warren, copy to Mike and copy to George to make sure that things going to you were, in their view, correct and thorough. And so as you got the final version last week, you'd have been through 2 iterations.
I forwarded on Thursday.
Yeah, so what's before you is this final version.
Which will be incorporated into a formal negative declaration, assuming you give me the direction to accept the part 3 analysis that's been prepared by our consultant.
And so the appendix is where all the plans that they submitted are to. So that's really like what holds them to everything, right?
Yeah, I haven't decided how to incorporate that into
Okay.
the neg deck. We also have to finish our public hearing with regard to the site plan and special permit. If you remember, we'll close the public hearing with regard to seeker. I think we're pretty much finished with the seeker process except for the formal neg deck. If that's where the board is directing us to go. We did agree that we would have one more meeting that would be open to the public comment on the special permit conditions and the site plan, limited to those comments. We would close the public hearing and then work on if the project is going to be approved, we would work on a resolution approving the project. So we fold everything into one. I'd really like to have everything for the board to adopt at one time, the negative declaration and the site plan and special permit approval, even though we had discussed doing it in 2
Well, what about the fact they have to go back to the ZBA?
That's the only problem. Yeah.
As you know, or Warren will tell you this, but no one can take any action on this.
Yeah, they will have to go back to the ZBA. So I could have, if you like, I can have the negative declaration within a week or 2 at the latest for you. And we could have a special meeting to adopt the negative declaration if that's what you want us to do. And then they will have that and they can go to the ZBA and we can schedule a date for the final hearing on the special permit and site plan, which we have to work on because there'll be conditions in the special permit.
And what are what are the criteria that we're looking at for the special?
It's in the zoning code. You have to look, you just take a look at the section on site plan and special permit. Mostly, I think there are 11 criteria, 12 criteria in the zoning code. The applicant can weigh in on it and indicate why they feel they have satisfied all those requirements.
And we can give you, I said to Warren, we'll be able to give you a follow-up.
We'll give you some
memo
guidance on that too.
On the special permit. In fact, that's.
Yeah, but
one
that's why I thought we could get done with the seeker part and then move on to that.
Yeah.
If we are gonna vote to which it seems everyone wants.
So we can have the seeker for you in a week or 2. I'd rather have 2 weeks to work on it, but that's okay.
And that would be.
And
the
then we could
resolution.
do the meeting at the same time, you know, with the public hearing of the meeting,
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Then we
and we're finished with that.
Then we digest the comments and then that the public makes regarding the site plan special use permit, and then we take it from there.
The advantage of your law, your local laws, I've mentioned that the 2 Saturday sessions is that unlike the state model for solar, state model doesn't make type 3 solar installation a special permit. When the town board adopted it here, you put in a special permit, so all of those things that the applicant has submitted in Appendix A, those can be made as conditions of the special permit, so that you have, I think, protection that all of that would work.
And I think that's what the board views it as, that's what we were doing here,
Yeah.
like that.
So that's where it is, so.
Right.
Yeah, and we see, just as Warren mentioned, we see in other communities, we're working on a couple of solar installations in Mount Kisco and Wild Riverhead. We've done the neg deck, first, so that because some other boards might be involved, as in this case, there's the ZBA. So if you do the neg deck, it's Warren said in 2 weeks or something.
If there was no CBA approval required, then we would do everything simultaneously. That's the way it's usually.
And the CBA is just the fence?
Pardon?
Just for the fence.
Yeah.
They already like
Yeah,
Unless
gave
they
it the
withdraw
okay,
that.
but they couldn't vote
Yeah.
because we're
Right.
not done.
but the terminology, but it would be a consolidated approval. Did they have a meeting the same time as we have a meeting? Did they have a
I mean,
meeting?
the
that-
CBA,
Yeah, could they set up a
I
meeting
don't know
that
when
day
their
too?
next meeting is.
Well,
You
Well,
know
they
when-
could have a
It's-
special meeting too.
22nd, the only thing on the agenda would have been.
The 22nd?
Fence variance.
We can have the neg deck done by then.
but we can't meet, we need to notice a special
You
meeting.
could do a special meeting just to approve. the-
23rd is a Wednesday.
Yeah, that's I'll talk to Scott and see if he can do a special meeting for them, like on or just reschedule the regular, whatever. So Wednesday, the 23rd, can we, that's the next question. Can we make a special meeting? Who can't make it?
Well, let me. put
Oh, yeah, George can't, but do you
I'm already
feel,
being cut in half. I gotta go to 2 places then.
right, so,
Only 2?
Only 2.
but I mean,
They
if
said
nothing's
one.
changing in the plan at this point, it's more, there's
Right.
nothing
I
really.
mean, I need me.
I don't think we need.
Yeah, and in fact, if we go through this tonight and I get any and all changes, for your resolution itself, that's a pure vote, so I think, actually,
Yeah, you
I
can do
could do it
Zoom.
by Zoom. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't need.
So the
What date?
23rd,
Sorry.
Wednesday, the 23rd.
This would,
I can
so
do it.
that would be a separate meeting and then the next meeting would be a public hearing.
Yeah, that works for me.
Oh, yeah, so when would we do the public hearing? At that meeting?
We can. We have enough time to publish it. We
No,
need
you'd have to
5
publish
days,
it.
notice,
How many days? 2 weeks?
5 days
5 days?
for the public hearing.
That's 10 days or 2 weeks.
But either when is the newspaper cut off? Like if you called them tomorrow and sent them a notice?
Well, the local one's like a big deal.
You could.
And the.
theoretically,
I mean,
I
the
can't-
only issue might be getting out all the, want me to send all the letters.
Decision
that's all maybe.
As a condition of the site plan approval.
No, you can't do it, because they can't vote until we have a negative.
We have to have. them.
Yeah.
And we have to notice everyone again?
Yes.
Mhm.
What do we do?
Do we have to know-
First public hearing.
Do we do for each public
I've
hearing?
done for every single one.
For every one, we've noticed all
You
of them.
noticed everybody.
Yeah,
No, I would do it.
doing it,
Err on the
okay.
side of caution.
And we can push it.
So that pushes things, like you don't think you could do that tomorrow, probably?
I mean, I could try. It's like 30.
Um, well, I mean, it just, yeah, I mean. What's,
Let's just take a look.
If you can all, I mean, you got a couple options. One is you could just do the neg deck on the 23rd. That doesn't have to be. noticed.
just do the public meeting
Let's
here,
do the neg deck on the 23rd.
and do the public hearing at our,
At the
at
next
the
meeting.
September meeting.
September.
Yeah. That sounds good.
What is it, Andrew?
So what's the emphasis on the 23rd? I think that the ZBA meets on the 22nd.
The emphasis on the 23rd is that we like Wednesdays. Everyone has their schedule cleared and we're able to do meetings on Wednesdays. If I say, let's do it on a Monday, we lose Ethan, lose me. You know?
I would suggest that, the following Wednesdays, there's more time for noticing and that would allow you. to do
Well,
better.
we're saying that we'll do the public hearing on
We're doing
the
the public
September
We're not
meeting
doing
too,
those.
so.
We're just doing the neg deck. So
Okay.
it'd just be a notice of a special meeting,
So, yeah, which we don't have to send.
and then you have time to go to the ZBA.
We'll talk with Scott. Maybe he can do a meeting in between.
Okay, and then you would schedule the public hearing for the.
We're gonna schedule right now for the September.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm most comfortable. with
Yeah,
it.
that sounds like a better plan. And I'll see if. I mean, do we have to do the library? I don't know. Oh, like, I don't know. I'll see. You think we're gonna need the library again? Probably.
How much, I don't know how many people, you mean for the public hearing?
Yeah,
Who knows, you know?
I'll
you
see
never
if the
know.
library is
Why not do it
available.
at the library?
Do it here.
Evening to
You think this
it.
is enough? You think here?
It's in the evening, it's our regularly scheduled meeting, right, anyway?
Yeah.
What's the date of this?
We'll set up a few more chairs.
September meeting?
Do we have a date for that?
Well, the second Wednesday, I don't know, 13.
Wait a second, make sure I can make that.
Well, it's our regular meeting.
7:30 on August 23rd. Is that
You
correct?
did have us on.
September 13th,
Yes.
I can do it.
Okay.
7:30.
Wait a second, no,
7:30.
that's a planning board meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
Board meeting.
Very good.
No, that's
So-
perfect.
What is it? The public
All right.
hearing on the
Fits
special
right in
meeting
with your
is Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. For the
All right.
others.
So we need a special meeting, just a special meeting for the 23rd. So we have
At what
to,
time?
Yeah, you have to have a notice, I'll prepare a notice of a special meeting for you.
do I have to vote? We have to vote for that, right?
Yeah, you should.
do.
You should,
All
you
right.
should vote, you know.
So can I have a motion to have a special meeting on the 23rd of August, at 7:30 PM here?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, it passed,
And we'll have to send, we have to post it on the town's official board and on the website. I'll give you instructions on it.
Okay.
And just to send a copy of the notice to the paper.
To the paper.
to the paper.
All right.
Am I supposed to-
And so for the next public hearing can I have a motion to have public hearing at 7:30 PM on, what did we say, the 13th,
Wednesday,
September, Wednesday, September 13th? Either here or the library, depending on
I
what,
think we should do it. I think we should do it here.
you should do it here. All right, we'll do it here.
Public hearings on both special permit and site. plan.
Site plan and special, what did I say? Site plan and special use permit. Can I please have a motion for that?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Pass unanimously. Okay, is that it?
I think there were one or two, if I
So-
could grab the
Yeah.
two comments you had.
On
Just, wait,
history,
do me a favor.
oh, sorry,
Just do it by email.
Oh, just give me.
or
an
I'll
email.
give you these,
Yeah.
that's
well,
fine.
actually,
Even
wait a
easier.
minute.
What is it, just typos?
Let me see what I
Yeah.
printed on. I mean, they're quick. I can tell you they're
Oh,
quick.
okay.
Under history, the second bullet, you have Pine Plans instead of Pine Plains.
Oh, gee, we should have got that. Let me get, under the second bullet.
I've got it.
You got it,
Comprehensive
sir.
record.
Good.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
under
Sorry about that.
3.0 analysis, impact to aesthetic resources, the second line, it says, impacts in a pervious, it should be previous version.
That's funny. I did that twice last week.
You got it, sir?
Yep.
Okay.
Already.
Those changes are made, so,
If you find
All right.
anything else, just email us.
just email me, yeah, email, sir.
I want to get my.
Thank you.
Hey, any questions? Can I get a vote to direct me to prepare a negative declaration based upon the part 3 analysis?
Can I have a motion to do that?
Yes.
Second.
Kate?
What, second?
No, we got a second.
What?
Yes.
Aye. Yes.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tricia, thank you for taking. the
Yes,
time.
Does Tricia have
Gotta use
an
the false
electronic
sense.
copy of
Well,
appendix A?
She has it's very large. She has a flash drive and we're going to make sure that's loaded to some sort of public folder and make sure John gets a link to it.
If it's on, Andrew already gave me, it's already out.
Okay, so she'll send you a link, make sure.
Good job. Thank you. I thought it was.
It's all just the latest
Yeah.
version, of all the submissions.
Understood, but you have-
Yeah, I understand.
That document, when it says like
No, no, I
discussion below or something, like every once in a while it says. Does that mean it's in here or in the appendix? That was my.
Do you have like an example of that? Probably it's.
Yeah, like
probably-
when it says see discussion below or see, does that just mean it's like in the
It's below
following
in
part
here, yeah.
somewhere? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Get on.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Frank, get on safe.
Yeah, I don't.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye, thank you.
Yep.
Okay,
You need me for anything else?
yes.
You can't escape going to get this.
So this.
Where's
On the 23rd.
That's for the negative declaration, secret negative declaration.
I wouldn't think it would be a long meeting.
No.
You're right.
I think that's why he's gonna draft the notice.
Yeah.
The whole document in front of us. so.
We'll get it.
Adoption of the negative.
So Warren, you're gonna draft the notice for this special meeting?
Yes.
Okay,
Take care of that.
so you'll, all right, so you'll draft. So we have a couple of things here, just old business. Now I know Reverend Sarah's here. But you gave us submissions, it just came like today, right, this evening, so. It was a,
Well, the engineer had sent George the drawings, so I thought he was aware of that, and Drew had written up that letter for me to give the fire and safety inspector that the area was to take care of. So I didn't think that was significant because everybody knew that already, and then I figured George had put the site plan, so if he had any issues, he'd have mentioned something. So I thought we were okay, that's as far as information.
when did these documents, did we, I didn't see this.
I had them today.
I got them a few days ago.
We didn't get them till
Maybe as much as a
today,
week ago.
so
I
the
didn't know
board
what
has
it
not
was.
seen them.
Okay, well.
How did you get them? From who?
From
Sarah.
Reverend Sarah, but I think they came in like 5:20. Yeah, and I'm sorry about that, just well, I thought George.
Yeah,
was
just-
the one
Yeah,
that-
no, I didn't circulate it. I didn't.
Well,
know.
remember, Tricia is the nexus, right? She's the secretary for the board. She's the one that circulates to everyone. George is our consulting engineer. He's not his job to,
He doesn't circulate.
no.
I didn't realize. I didn't, no, I mean, if you had
I
the date,
did-
once it on, I
did
would.
extra. I thought not as necessary, but now I know in the future that, yes.
Right, so that's what, so,
Well,
I thought he was just sending it to me, so I had it.
The bigger question was not so much the playground drawing, which is really what's on the site plan, is the bigger question was septic situation. And I spent 2 days on the phone with 2 different council offices, South Care Council and the Westchester Regional Office. Both of them actually have a part in my story. The problem is that the fire, I finally understood their problem. The fire is, there's only one fire and safety inspector for the whole Dutchess County. There used to be 2.
Okay.
I explained to them your concerns. They're like, well, if you want anything, it's gonna be 6 weeks out. I'm like, okay, is there any way that it can move faster? I said, so there's a lot of complication with that. But after I got on the phone with them all day, I looked at the actual calculations of Emmanuel Mifron, and I'm sure George could confirm with me, and I realized how he actually came to his calculations. And I said, so what really? is
okay,
the
I don't know what we're
maximum?
talking about. Calculations of what? Is this like square footage?
This
Or what do we?
is septic tank.
It's just the septic,
So
thing,
look at
okay.
what he has, he has 15 students and I can even show George, he's maxing out at,
The health department said it was okay.
yeah, it's 896. I said, so what's the maximum numbers of kids that can actually
Right.
be there?
Oh, hold on. So if it's a septic issue, it's the Department of Health and whatever organization licenses these. It's not, we just need to see a thing from them saying everything's okay. So,
Said it was okay, you're right.
right, so
Right, so.
so we, that's,
My, Yeah, the only reason, as far as I understood, that you didn't approve of the daycare was because of the number of children.
No, we didn't have
No,
a
we got
complete
nothing.
site.
You need to come up with your business plan, like how many kids you need to afford to have your thing and just come present us with. That you want to do this. We're not part of your
Well, it's already-
planning.
And we need a complete site plan. Now,
Right.
you said, George, was it still missing things or was it, I didn't get to see this.
Right, yeah.
Is
I
the
mean,
site
I think
plan-
We have it, we can pull it up, you know, it's basically an aerial, I mean, there's a property line outlined in red, and he said, you know, hey. You know, daycare's going in this existing building and the playground area is this dimension, and it's here.
Let's keep this good.
Yeah,
So-
but I'm not exactly sure what, I mean.
You know, so it's not a hand sketch, it's an engineer's site
Right.
plan.
I'm trying
Are there
to.
state
I think it's
permits or-
sufficient for what we.
Yeah, you have to go
see.
to Dutchess County
Right. Dutchess
daycare,
County
whatever,
had
and they,
previously submitted, before last month, he had submitted to the health department for septic.
Yeah,
The health
Okay.
department
Good, I didn't
responds
say
back,
so.
via email.
Do we
you know,
have
saying septic
sign,
was sufficient.
septic, what about parking spots? Oh, is that it? Oh, I'm sorry. I was jumping the gun, I'm sorry. There's just certain criteria that are required in a site plan. That, you know, the lighting, the parking, it's all in our code, and I'm sure remember Drew sent you it, right?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, we went back and forth over it, and he sent it to George, and he said, you know, I haven't heard anything from George, so he was assuming everything was okay. I didn't think that wasn't the big issue, that was easy to fix the site plan, the bigger issue was the number of kids, and that I figured out that, you know, I've been already approved for 15 by Department of Health, by the Public Health Engineer. I already have the approval.
Okay,
So I'm not really sure, and I sent that paper last time at the meeting.
Right.
The only other thing was,
Drill down.
you know,
Kids.
if a fire safety inspector came out, could I have more than that? Well, maybe, but you know, according to the
so you're applying for a daycare with 15 kids.
15.
15, yeah, I mean, and then there is a possibility. If I wanted to, you know, go back to Emmanuel to get another 5, I think I could probably have 20 there, but I could do 20 based on the.
This is
setback.
where we're gonna get into that circular logic again, that
Right.
we need to stick with a number.
Yeah.
Right, so that we can
So
have a
15,
review.
yeah, so 15 is fine for now. And then,
And we need a site, again, like we're just looking at this now, so we need a site plan, I will have to look at it, and George will let me know, and Warren, is there anything deficient in the site plan that information we need, any of the board members feel we need to know about?
I know, I would assume there's some either state or county licensing for a daycare center.
there's a lot of different parts of it, but
I
yeah.
mean, I would
They
not
wanted-
feel comfortable approving it until we see that.
they want,
They want us first,
They
yeah.
want you guys to approve it first before they come out.
Right.
They normally don't do pre-site inspections. A fire and safety inspector normally doesn't do a pre-site inspection. The other department will do a pre-site inspection for like teaching you how to run a daycare. But the fire and safety inspector, who actually tells you the number of children, all the fire code, they don't come out until you guys say it's okay, and I can't, you know, move forward. I'm paying rent. I can't move until you guys.
Well,
come in
We're
and
not gonna
say-
give any permits until they're fully licensed.
Right, so how does that work? They're pointing at us, we're pointing at
So I
them,
think the
so,
way I've seen other towns do is issue conditional approval based on you getting
On
your
the license,
licenses.
you don't get the.
And then the
CMO.
other
Yeah,
agencies say, oh, it's been approved, and they go do their inspection.
yeah.
so we just need to be able to examine the documents. Warren, I take it you didn't see it either, only George saw this?
Yeah,
Hmm?
exactly.
Only you saw the additional submission, I mean, only George saw, it. You did
I
not see
haven't
these.
seen it.
So we need to look at these additional submissions and make sure we have all the information we have, whatever we need, and.
If you recall from last month, the issue with the playground is, you know, how far from the property line it is. I don't think there was an issue. It's within your purview to approve it, but again, we need.
We need
to
a
see on an
waiver.
Engineer's site plan that this really is. You know, how it's gonna lay out, not just.
And is this sufficient to determine that?
Hmm?
I'm
That's
asking
what
George,
Pat is
is this,
saying.
sufficient?
You look at
That's,
it,
you know, again, I would say that the one thing missing from this is his signature and seal.
Oh, so we need that.
Yeah.
So it
Which
needs to
could
be,
also be a condition, but I mean, I think he'll have it for next month. That'll be a comment, right, that we want them signed and sealed.
you understand? So he's got there has to be a
It's not
sign.
official until he signs it and seals it. Yeah.
Maybe, okay, maybe.
Well, because it's not at the end, a lot of times you'll wait till the end to sign and seal it,
All right.
so you're not signing and sealing a premature drawing.
And do we have like number of spots? We don't really, I mean, there's only gonna be how many employees?
So it's probably, 15 kids, 4 employees.
So we need like one spot, I think, per code.
One spot, and plus one spot for the kids too.
One spot for the kids, and then one spot for each employee.
So 5.
Yeah. So I think we have it.
And
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know the parking lot better than I do, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a physical therapist
I'm
office
saying,
and
looking
a
at the
bakery.
spots, I think they're there. If you
Yeah.
guys understand the way this
Yeah.
parking lot functions. Are there 5 spots there on a daily basis? I would think yes.
Warren, besides the licensing thing, is there anything specific to daycares that that you need?
No, I've never done, I'll defer to George on this. I
Okay.
don't handle daycare.
Right, like I said, if you guys do a conditional approval conditioned upon that.
That,
Then that'll spur those agencies to say, oh, it's a real project, send out our inspectors. And if she can't get the, license, then you don't have a
Yeah.
licensed daycare, obviously. And if they come back and say, hey, we can get you 20 kids in here, and she says, I want 20, then again, she has to amend this and come back in front of us before.
right,
anything
so
is
that'll
there. I
all be
think I
in the
want 20.
resolution,
Um,
right, Warren,
yeah.
how many kids, and if you want to add, you need to come back, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
so I think we get that signed. I don't remember if Pat put 15 on here, but we should probably just have them for.
The number of children.
Yeah, 15. Because then again, that speaks to the issue of the parking, and that's why it's important.
But if you
And
want
septic
20,
is-
you might as well
I
start
was gonna
with
say, wow.
20 first as,
Appreciate that.
If you'll get approval from the
Yeah.
other agency.
Yeah.
for that.
if I were you,
Like I said,
I'd
if
go.
they go
higher
down,
than-
we don't care. If they
Right.
go up, we do care.
Right.
I'm gonna try to get approval from Emmanuel Mifron first from the Department of Health. I think it will pass. And then once he does that letter, then I'm gonna try to have Pat put it on.
Mhm.
So then. Okay, that feels good. At least we're moving forward.
Okay.
Because I don't know
All right.
what else I can do.
And we'll all look at these and see, make, because again, we haven't had the ability to examine them yet, the opportunity.
Right, and then so it was just, you just wanted the site plan for the whole thing, right? I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's an existing site with existing parking.
Or there's certain
existing entrance, so-
there's certain requirements that site plan consists of, and then Drew sent you that, right? So all the things on there, the lighting, the parking, so look at what he sent you,
Yeah.
right? He was gonna send you after the last meeting.
Yeah, the ingress, the egress, well, you
Yeah.
said specifically ingress, egress.
I actually, I don't know if I
Yes.
specified, I specified whatever Drew was gonna send you. So, okay,
Okay, so send it to Drew, send that as site plan.
No, he gave you what our site plans require.
criteria.
Didn't you do it didn't you do it for the
I-
bakery?
Yeah. We let her do like a
Oh, because it was already
hand
approved.
drawn and,
All the
yeah.
requirements are online on our website under the zoning law, including
Right.
for the daycare. So if Drew hasn't given you stuff, they can be found there.
I think he
No,
did, he said he
did.
would.
It's just that, like he said, you need to bring it before the board to see what they want to, how they want to handle.
So like
things.
on that, you would have the parking spot, like I would just put like 5 parking spots and the light and the sign and what else? is there?
There's a lot of requirements under the daycare. So.
I've never-
In our zoning,
Yeah.
so that's all,
I haven't
look,
been there since the
look
trial.
under the, you have that.
Yeah, but there was certain things that he said,
Going in the
just-
doctor's side,
just-
they were handicapped.
Yeah.
as far as I understand, he said, just do your best within, bring it
Size
before the
there.
board and see what they have to say. So I did.
Well, yeah, we have to look at what you're submitting and we'll check out those sections also and. We'll look at these new submissions. And we'll let you know if there's anything else we need.
Yeah, do you let us know, do you let me know that before the next meeting?
You should work with Drew to have it completed for the next meeting and come with the map with all of the stuff on it. And then we'll say,
Okay, so send this to Drew and go back and forth.
yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Right, because it.
And
should
then
be
once you
here
have
10
submissions
days.
to give, yes,
It should be
Right.
before us 10 days before the meeting,
Which is September
13th.
13th.
So by the 1st. Or 3rd. Whatever, shoot for the 1st.
And then at that meeting, we could conditionally approve it based on you getting a license.
Yeah, I have a family ID number, which they give you. which,
Yeah,
yeah.
whatever is required.
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't, yeah, need.
Okay? All right, thank you.
You done?
I'm done with you, Warren. And George, thank you. We'll be in touch.
Night, everybody.
Good night. So we have some minutes to
Yeah.
approve.
Just one.
Yes.
We knocked the.
Well, they didn't send us anything,
Oh, okay.
and Drew's not here for me to ask him about it.
Oh.
I also want to ask him about Capuano, because he was supposed to, I talked to him last month in June, I think. He was gonna go talk to Capuano and be like, what's going on with the hole in the ground? And he gave them requirements. He says, you have to at least do this, this, and the other, and they haven't done this, that, and the other.
Just still a big hole in the ground.
Yeah, so I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, Michael gave me.
What's up? What is it? What is it? What's wrong, Warren?
I didn't want this disseminated to the public yet.
Thank you.
Well, we-
Appreciate it.
I did.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I mean, we put it, did we pull it up on the screen? We did.
No,
We just discussed
Did
it.
you?
no, I don't think we.
We didn't put it on the screen. I'm sorry. I thought it was, we were discussing at the meeting, so then
Yeah.
it's just public side.
I'm gonna supply a copy to the applicant too.
Yeah,
Do
that's
they have-
fine.
Okay, all right.
They could have took one too.
Can I give a
Well,
copy to my newspaper?
No, I'd rather not.
Okay.
But I thought once we discussed it at a meeting.
But you didn't, it wasn't, it was, all I tried to keep it quiet, so we weren't discussing the substance of it. That's all right. Go on.
I mean, we didn't change it,
Don't
so.
worry. It's not a problem.
Okay. All right, Warren, thank you.
Full transparency.
So they didn't respond back to Drew, or they did and didn't do.
He got a hold of
This is the house
somebody.
Next to the inn, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Torn down,
Yeah.
okay.
So, and he spoke to we talked to the applicant or the
Yeah.
owner. And then talked to their construction person. And he told that guy, I need to do this, that, and the other thing. And again, I would have asked him that, but I haven't talked to him since then. But he said he told him to do all these things and change to a, I guess, like a black fence thing and clean up, make sure it's safer and get rid of the orange fence and like a solid black silt fence or something like that. He told me what it was. It sounded fine to me.
What's the plan with that anyway?
Well, what they said at the time, again, they were gonna see if that they were at the time, they were upfront saying that the house was likely not gonna be able to be saved. They said this foundation was compromised, but they were gonna try. And then I guess they determined that they couldn't save it. And so on that, we allowed them to build an accessory dwelling in the back, and that's what they're building. And then
But they're
they're,
supposed to put the house back up.
yeah, and there's big restorers, they said
So brand new foundation.
yeah, I guess,
Or-
The other one wasn't sufficient.
Right.
They gotta build a brand new foundation,
yeah.
but obviously nothing's been done.
No, well, they're still building the other house.
So it's all going in slow motion.
Very.
Yeah, I mean, we approved that application
As well, we're.
like COVID. Yeah, it was like COVID.
It's almost like you could fill it up and then when you get ready, start over again.
With a
Exactly.
Swimming pool.
But yeah.
Oh, that's in the back of the house.
Oh,
It's in the back, but that's supposed to be in the front.
I thought it was
No.
it might be in front of.
It's supposed to-
It
It's
was
in front of the
behind
cottage.
the
It's
thing.
behind,
It's a lap pool or something.
yeah, behind the,
I thought
Accessory.
it was in the front of I thought it was between the new building and the.
that's where the septic is.
Okay.
Oh,
It's quite a swim.
Well, it's that, it's one of those things where,
The water moves.
yeah, water moves.
Like a treadmill.
Yeah, like a treadmill in the water.
Is there anything in our zoning when a house is torn down? Do you think that should be added within a certain amount of time?
Well, I think that is,
That's filled in.
I think
I
there
mean,
is
or
something.
Covered.
I think Sarah, do you know? Do you remember? There's something about like, I know we talked about,
have not reviewed that, and maybe not ever, but I don't know.
I feel like that, just the general, it's a front yard, right? There's some provisions about having like clean front yard, not having, at the very least, there's that.
What about the one at Patchins Mill? Is that just because of?
yeah, right.
Well, if you watch the meetings, they can't get no one's doing it, like, no, the owner, there's no owners, no one's,
We're trying to track that one down.
yeah,
But here, I mean, obviously, they can be required to put up a proper security fence.
yes,
And that should definitely happen,
that's,
because it's certainly an attractive nuisance to.
I'll follow up with Drew.
Those are all zoning enforcement issues. Can we put into the site plan in the future to say you have 3 years to, or 2 years or whatever it gets determined? If you tear down the structure to now put up the primary structure again,
We did, and I believe what we said is, I look at that resolution, did we not put in there that if they don't replace the structure within a certain amount of time, it becomes the primary
there's no
residence?
timeline from what I saw.
You saw this, we didn't end that?
No,
What
Because
you
I-
could
becomes
double
the
check. I
primary
glanced at it the other
residence?
day.
The accessory dwelling?
That would now become the primary
You
residence.
can't because it doesn't meet our zoning code. That
Right.
was all brought up at that meeting.
Right.
Because when I asked him, he said, oh, no, we're gonna rebuild.
I think this will resolve itself satisfactorily in the end. But I think in the meantime, it's an attractive nuisance and a safety issue.
That's why I think something should be added in the zoning. A
Yeah,
timeline
we'll
on it,
look at it.
Because it was
Well,
the
there- I mean, there
same
must be
thing
some- there
with
must be
the,
something
town-
in our code somewhere about when you take a house down, what the requirements are. I mean, you may have to level the area within a
Right.
certain amount of time. I just don't know. what
I mean,
is.
that was a big thing for where the town hall is going. Everybody was complaining
Yes.
about that.
Right.
And now it's the same thing over here. I mean, it's kind of like a hot topic in town,
I know that. I know.
so. I think there should be a time frame.
Well, he already gave him notice to fix it, like, it sounded like he was, again, Drew's not here for us to ask, well, I'll find out from him. and-
It
well,
seemed like there was some additional equipment there and a dumpster, so maybe they are getting to it. I don't know.
It's been over a month.
Well. there's
Almost
other
2 months.
projects too that we have done and so on. So,
I'll look at it.
All right.
See what I.
And otherwise, I think, oh, we never did the minutes. We just talked about it, and then Warren came in. That's right. Can I have, does anyone have any changes? I know Ethan had some
I always have some.
that were circulated. So based upon the edited copy that, can I have a motion to accept those minutes?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are accepted. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Move to adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Take care. Take care, Sarah.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Sarah.